That first half, our football against arguably the best team in the world was actually pretty impressive in front of our home fans. So there was just something that clicked.
We are so pleased to be joined now by Bay FC head coach Albertin Montoya. Coach, welcome back to A3. You've been with us before, but we're happy to see you again.
Thank you for having me back, Lisa. Excited to be here.
Okay, so we are on the cusp of the 2025 season, but before we get into all of that, before we talk the soccer, how was your off season? How was your winter? What did you do outside of soccer, outside of anything for Bay? What did you get into in your off season?
I'm laughing because what off season?
It was quick.
Off season. Yeah, we were just traveling and looking at players and watching games. I did spend, I think, maybe a total of 6 days that was completely off with my family, which was absolutely wonderful. But otherwise, it was working. We have a lot to do, and didn't really take much time off. So ask me the same question next year, because
Okay.
there was a lot to do, and we were just excited about starting the next season. So there wasn't much time off. So sorry I don't have exciting, stuff to share or anything like that, because it was work.
Well, that's how you prepare for a good season with a good team, and it did look different this year because there's no more draft in the NWSL. So everything in the offseason is a little different, and how you craft your team is a little different this year, specifically from your first year with expansion side Bay FC. So how do you scout players without a draft in the offseason when you're looking at college players? What are you looking for in them that would fit well with your team or playing style? I mean, how do you even approach that?
So one of the most important things that we look at is players that are going to just fit into our system and fit into what we're about, how we treat each other every day, and how we carry ourselves, and this one team mentality that we have as an organization, which is very important to us. So it takes a little bit more time of getting to know the player. We'll speak to their college coaches, their club coaches, other people that have influence in their lives, and then we bring them into market, and that's also very important. We get to know them a little bit. They get to see what we're about. They get to meet some of our owners, coaching staff, and just the fact that we're able to interact with them, just like a normal day, and have a dinner with them, and go out and just see our stadium at PayPal, our practice facilities, and that's actually one of the things that I really enjoyed, and I thought there's a lot of value to that in getting to know the players before we bring them into market, because everyone's a great footballer, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's always going to be the right fit, and this goes across the world, and I think really did well with the players we brought in this year, and are excited to have them, and just the fact that we get to know them a little bit better before the season even starts is a highlight.
I mean, going to start your first year professional and playing at PayPal, even getting to train there is a pretty good sell if you're wanting to bring players to Bay. So I love that. But Albertine, I wanted to ask about last year because an expansion team is tough to start up, to bring players in, to create a culture you want. How did you really get buy-in from the team and make that culture that makes everybody feel comfortable to go to an expansion club?
That's it's still ongoing right now. That was the most challenging part, to be honest. There was a lot of things that we had to face throughout the season, but the fact that, and I said this many times, we have 26 different players from all walks of life and different types of football, and then also 24 different staff members that we're working with every day that we haven't worked with in the past, and that's a challenge in itself in so many ways. So it's all about, okay, how do we work together? How do we get the most out of each other? And then who complements each other? It's not only on the field, but off the field. And it's finding that right chemistry. And that takes time. And I think sometimes it takes 2 or 3 or 4 years. There's teams that you've seen in our league that have been successful that it's taken time to get there. And those first 6 months for us were difficult. They were really challenging. And I'm happy to speak about that, just because we learned a lot from ourselves and about our teams. And as a coaching staff, we knew that we had to be better, that we needed to kind of hold ourselves accountable in so many ways, but hold certain individuals. And that process just kind of like it 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 just developed on its own. And but we all believed in each other, right? So we believed that we had the best interest of the player and the organization and the club, and it's finding those individuals that buy into it, and that kind of fit our style of football. And I would say about halfway through the season, the summer break was really important for us to get some things out and out in the open, and we did. And then when we came back in that second half of the season, things started coming together. Players started to play with a little bit more freedom, a little bit more excitement, but so much of it, I will say, was on us as a coaching staff. And I wish I could go back and do things differently, but we can't. And now it's making sure that in this preseason, we start off on the right foot, that we start off with the way we left off last season. And that's what we're really enjoying about this preseason. I'll tell you, it's night and day. I mean, it's in every aspect of this preseason, and the team is loving the time that they spend together, enjoying the training session, enjoying the entire staff, the way we interact with each other. And that's kind of like the environment and the culture that we want to create here at Bay. And that is so important. And it's just to be able to get that right from the start, I think is going to have a really positive impact in our season and how we enjoy our football this year. Sorry if I went on and on forever.
Coach, you're cutting yourself short. You guys still made the postseason last year in your first year.
Yep.
Yes, thank you. But again, that's second half of the season, right? We kind of got things right. Imagine if it would have started from the very beginning that way, right? And thank you for that. It was, I mean, the fact that we made playoffs, but at one point of the season, I think we were in 13th play about halfway through the season, and then we made our way up to the 7th. And the way I look at it in a staff, I'm like, what if, right? What if? Because we want to be better. We were 4 minutes away from making the semis, and that's like against an incredible squad. But it shows that when a team comes together, right, and believes in each other and believes in what they're trying to do, anything can be accomplished. And that's why this offseason wasn't much of an offseason, because everyone involved was ready to come back. They're like, wait, we just had a bitter taste in our mouth. It's like we were so close. And there's a lot of there's a lot more that we know we can do. So yeah, that's why, yes, we made playoffs, but
you want more.
Yes, absolutely.
So take us inside the conference room, the meeting room, the locker room, whether it's during the summer break or even in this off season, of those little things that you tweaked. What's one thing that you're going to do differently to start this year?
So I do believe one of my strengths in coaching is the way I'm able to connect with players and get to understand the human side. And the first 6 months last year, I didn't really know much about our players and our team, and that's on me, right? There were so many things going on in our organization, and I could have done a better job of that, and I take full responsibility for that. And this year, I'm able to just go and speak to the players. We're just connecting in a very different way than we did at the beginning of the season. So it's kind of like how we left off, right? So the conversations are not only just about football, but they're about everything that we do, and family and hobbies, and it's just something that I think is very important and that I value, having that relationship with the players. So the fact that we can kind of joke around in a certain way, understand each other a lot better, they understand what I'm asking of them and why I say certain things, and just more familiar with each other. So that's the really, biggest difference, and what I'm enjoying more so than, that's what I'm enjoying. That's what I've always enjoyed as coaching.
Albertin, was there a moment last year, you alluded to after the summer break, where things just started to gel a little bit more, but is there a particular either training session or game that we watched where you were like, this is it. This is what we've been working for. This is what Bay FC is?
Actually, as bizarre as it may sound, it was the first half against Barcelona. So yes, they weren't playing all their starters, but we played what was our starting lineup. And I said, look, let's just go at them. We've got nothing to prove here. Let's just go at them. Let's attack. Let's press them up high. They're not used to getting pressed, right? I mean, it's Barcelona. Everyone kind of sits back, and let's just go at them. And we had a great game against them in that first half. And everyone just felt it, and our players were talking about it at halftime. We were talking about it after the game. And then in the second half, we made changes. We let all of our players play. We let our rookies kind of experience it. And it wasn't until later in the game where they got some of those goals. But that first half, our football against arguably the best team in the world was actually pretty impressive in front of our home fans. So there was just something that clicked. And during that summer break, it allows us to do different types of training sessions, things that I like to concentrate on a little bit more. And I felt like I was being myself, and our coaching staff was being themselves and able to do things a little different. I've always said some of our training sessions and the way we go about doing things can be a little bit different. And they accepted that, and it just clicked. But it's that Barcelona game. I go back to it. They started really believing in themselves, and then that win at Portland, because that was not long after that.
Huge.
That win at Portland, the way we played, and then from there on, we just started believing. You go into a team that's been so successful in this league, and a franchise that's known to be as one of the best, and go to their home stadium and have the success that we did. Just kind of that laid down, just that framework, and it was that was those two games I think were the biggest difference for us.
Well, especially going to Providence Park and taking it to Portland. I mean, that had to be such a good feeling because that rivalry is kind of there. You guys are so close.
Yeah, it definitely is. And, knowing how talented they are and how much success they've had, and the fact that we were able to go to Providence Park, as you mentioned, and play the way we did was it was a good stepping stone.
The second half of last year, we also got to see, how do I word this, personality from your players come out on the pitch, a little bit of flair from the team. I'm specifically thinking of the match against Houston. Rachel Kudananji, she stands on the ball. She puts 2 feet on the ball, stands on it, calls over the defender, and then it jukes him out. I mean, we really got to see who Rachel Kudananji was, and playing with freedom and having all that flair. When she did that, were you like, yeah, we practiced that yesterday in practice?
No. So my original thought when I first saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, wait, why did she just do that? But then I took a step back. I'm like, look, that's what I encourage. I want them to express themselves. I want our players to enjoy the game. And I knew deep down that it wasn't done in a disrespectful way at all. That's who she is. And that's what she does back in the streets when she's playing in Zambia, right? It's like, that's who Rachel is. And after that, I was like, good for you. The fact that you have the confidence to do that and enjoyed it. And afterwards, she went and, didn't gloat, didn't necessarily even think about the moment, because it was just her having fun, playing a game. At the end of the day, it is a game, and you're entertaining. And it wasn't done in a disrespectful way at all. And this is where it can be viewed in a certain way. It all depends on, where you come in from around the world, and your soccer background, your playing background. I think certain parts of the world, it can be seen as like, hey, good for them. Just like, that's the game. It should be joyful. And in other parts of the world, it might be like, okay, that's disrespectful. You shouldn't be doing that. And I think it just comes down to the person, who they are, where they've come from. And honestly, she was just enjoying the moment. And we all did with her. I mean, it's the last game of the season. We're about to make playoffs. And she was having an incredible game.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, so why not? She was just in the moment. And as they say, she was in the zone. So
Totally.
I was just really happy for her and everyone in the team, just enjoying what we're about.
I want more of that. I loved it.
Yeah, I'm in
Right?
awe. I didn't even know people could take that in some sort of negative way. I thought it was badass. I think women's soccer needs more of that kind of like, yeah, come here, square up to me. Let's see how you're going to do it.
I love to hear that. That's exactly it. Because
Yeah,
obviously there was a lot of negativity behind it and just
that's
outside
crazy.
noise. But you
Mhm.
just need to know that she's just enjoying the game. I mean, imagine any other sport someone does that. It'll be on like ESPN
Of
highlights,
course.
and
Or
it's
men did
just
it.
exactly. So,
Ugh.
yeah,
Well, you have a attacking third support. We need
for
more
sure.
of that. So
Love it.
who knows what she's going to do next. Speaking of another player, a good friend of mine who has a lot of personality, you brought in Kelly Hubley to be part of your team. How is she gelling with everybody? How's she doing in preseason? And we can't help but wonder, could we potentially see a 3-back with your 3 center backs you now have?
Uh, Again, I get in trouble sometimes for just like speaking my mind and speaking too much. It's funny you brought that up. Well, I'll go back to that in a second. Kaylee Hubley, you should have that conversation with her and ask her how she's doing and if she's enjoying it because from what we've seen and the conversations I've had with her, uh, she's been pleasantly surprised. Remember, I mean, we're an expansion team. I don't think she was expecting to see the level of organization that we have and the support and the way we have come together as a team. So she's enjoying her time with us, and I'm really happy and excited to have her with our team. And going back to the 3-back, I am considering playing a 3-back against San Diego
Ooh.
this weekend because I was thinking about that last night, going over the formations, and I'm like, well, with what we have, and we're experimenting on a few things. Joelle Anderson, she's been doing really well as a left center back as well. She's a natural left-footed, so I'm like, okay, Joelle on the left side, Kelly on the right side, Abby in the middle. That could be a pretty good option. That might be interesting. So I'm actually looking into it for Saturday's game. So we will see. But this year,
News dropping here.
this year we'll experiment a little bit more with different lineups as well. The first year was just kind of getting the base, simple 4-3-3 on how we were going to play it. We went into a 3-5-2 just a couple times, but this year we're looking forward to just tweaking the lineup a little bit, from time to time, depending on who we're playing and if it's needed.
Now, we know that you are listening to Attacking Third day in and day out, Coach. Darian has been talking about a 3-back for Bay since Kelly Hubley made the move. So
I
you
have.
can't take her as on your coaching staff yet. I still have her with Attacking Third. You can't take her yet.
That's exactly why I said, look, we're going into a 3-back this Saturday. I mean, it just makes sense.
Oh gosh, I'm so excited for this year to see the 3-back Saturday, to see it maybe deployed in 2025, to be back at PayPal in front of your fans for a home season, your second season with Bay. What's one thing that fans need to know before they walk into PayPal, before they see Bay play at home? What do they need to know?
We're just going to go out there and enjoy the game. I mentioned it earlier. We want to express ourselves in the attacking third. They're going to see a team that's come together, that's going to play for each other, that believes in themselves, on their teammates, and as we say, it's this one team mentality. That's what they're going to see, and they're going to enjoy it because regardless if it's a good day or a bad day, we're going to be united, and it's going to be a heck of a season.
Ooh, chills. I can't wait for the season to start, Coach. Thank you. Thanks for hanging with us and chatting, and good luck this year.
Thanks for having me on, you guys. And sorry again that I've been under the weather, but appreciate it. And I look forward to speaking to you guys during the season.